Like even Angel, like I've listened to that song so many times just today because you love it and you can sing every lyric. But when you really listen to the lyrics, it's for somebody who is really broken and going through it, who feels hopeless and alone.
Yeah.
And there is this.
And who hasn't been there before?
100%.
Who hasn't been there before and who's like desperately asking, I've, not religious, but I'm going to pray right now because I need some help here. I need some release. I need to get out of this feeling in my body and my head. Like we've all been there. I think it's, so yes, it's desperate and desolate, but it's also this sort of, begging for something and asking for something better. So there's still that hope in it of like, please, somebody help me out here.
Does that song come from you just early morning at a piano?
Yeah, I remember really clearly. I was living in the Laurentians, which is just outside of Montreal, in a little tiny cabin. I had been on tour for probably 2.5 years. I was exhausted. I was mentally, physically completely drained. And of course, the record label's like, okay, where's the new record? We need you to get in the studio and write the next record. I'm like, I just need to regroup and get some of my soul back in place and get grounded again. So I thought, well, that worked with fumbling, so I'm going to go and try and, rekindle this feeling. And I remember being kind of stuck in my head, and I had bought some magazines, and I read this article in Rolling Stone about Jonathan Melvoin, the keyboard player for the Smashing Pumpkins, this story about him ODing in a hotel room, and just this flood of empathy and this feeling of connected to this story of like, I've never done heroin in my life, but I've been in that hotel room on tour just feeling so alone and lost, and how can I, starting to hate myself. And that song, like within 2 days, came out in its entirety. It was like, it just got channeled through me. And that's never happened to me before because, like I said, I'm not prolific. It usually takes months, if not years, to finish a song. And it was so quick. And I remember at the end of the process of the record, too, I put the record out, and I remember telling my friend, I think this album's shit, but Angel's really good. I just had no perspective.
Do you still, I
don't think that now, but in the moment, like we just worked the songs to death in my mind, and I had no perspective, and I was just like, I just don't even want to hear these songs anymore.
Can we talk about that song being beamed down to you?
Yeah.
It
was crazy. I don't know. It's just like this portal opened up, and I mean, that's a literal sense. It didn't, but I just felt like a conduit. This was something bigger than me, that I had opened up a door and witnessed this pain and recognized this pain that I feel in somebody else. And it's just this sense of connecting to something bigger than myself in the universe. And out it came.
Do you wonder where it came from?
I don't know. I think maybe it was just this perfect storm of recognition of that similar feeling. And I'm a musician. He was a musician. We're on tour, and it's a weird, lonely life that we lead as musicians on the road sometimes. And just that struggle. I was in that struggle, and reading that story was just like, oh my God, I can understand this pain.
That's a very real thing.
Yeah.
One of the biggest common threads that we get from, and I'll say timeless artists, timeless, is that their most timeless records are beamed down to them from something else, somebody else, another thing. I mean, and then that overlaps with this idea that people feel like ideas are passed from artist to artist. Like,
this collective consciousness thing.
Yes.
It's like they're out there waiting to be discovered, and whatever portal opens up.
Jonathan have a hand in this idea, this song? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah. Who knows? I mean, one of the coolest things, tragic and beautiful and cool, is I met Wendy Melvoin a couple years ago, and I had not made the connection. I knew who she was, of course. I was at Brandy Carlisle's show with the Joni Jam thing at the Gorge, and she came up to me. She goes, "Hey, I just want to tell you, that song you wrote, that really helped me and my family." And I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, I've heard that story countless times from other people who said that song has really helped them through a tough time. She goes, that was my brother you were writing about. And she teared up, and I did. We were both start bawling, and I just, again, this other beautiful connection of just like, thank you for that song. It was a devastating time for us, and that made us feel better somehow. So thank you. And we were crying and hugging each other. It's just like, holy shit. So intense.
Music is wild.
Music is wild. It really is.
I mean,
it's so incredible.
That's really, to think about what that song has done in this world, really, like in terms of like songs that have like immeasurable, there's no way to fully grasp the good that song has done, the connectivity that song has brought people, the peace it's brought people, the reminder it's brought people, the money it's raised to save animals.
And there's that too. Yeah,
I mean,
it's had legs. Yeah, I mean, that's one of the coolest validations as an artist, or as a human for that matter, to know that you've created something that has this lasting impact. It can go out in the world and actually
it's bigger than
help somebody.
With all due respect, it's bigger than you. Like
way bigger than me, but that song always was way bigger than me. It didn't come from me. It came through me, right? So it makes sense that was the song that so many people have connected with on a really visceral level.
How does the ASPCA get involved in the first place?
So I had a friend on the board of the BC ASPCA, and they were having this discussion about fundraising and how they could maybe, leverage everybody's, assets, as it were. And my friend's like, well, I know Sarah McLachlan. We should ask her. She loves animals. Maybe she'll come do a PSA for us. And I was off the road, and I was sort of in between things. And she came and asked me. I said, sure, I'll do that. What do you need from me? And she said, oh, just come to the studio for a couple hours. We'll record this thing. And can we use your song too? And I'm like, well, sure, that makes sense. That'll work. And we did it. And I don't think any of us had any idea the alchemy of that and how successful it would be. I think it raised $30 million in like the first year or something like that. Insane. It's
been going on. It still airs today.
I know. May I say that at one point, and let me finish the story, there was actually a cease and desist letter written to them because obviously it's a song that I love. Everybody wants to hear it. I do a number of charity concerts for various causes. And I was doing this food bank concert in New York City to raise money for the food bank. And they said, with respect, can you please not play Angel? Because it's so synonymous with the SPCA. We don't want brand confusion. I'm like, oh no. This is my song. And this is a song that everybody wants to hear. And I just thought at that moment, like, okay, you know what? I think it's time to maybe move on and take that commercial down and, let me reclaim it. And it, to this day, as you said, it's still everywhere because it's franchised, right? So trying to get
it's so hard.
Everybody to take that thing off. And I get that it's worked so well and it raises so much money. Of course, they don't want to take it down. And of course, it's created a ton of memes and I've got to take the piss out of it on multiple occasions, which brings me much joy as well. So,
do you get royalties from it?
Oh, hell no. From the ASPCA, the commercial?
You donated the song.
Oh, I donated all of it, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I always do. I mean, I've donated my songs to all sorts of things.
You're amazing.
Well, it's easy to do.
Yes, but like you said, it's aired, a trillion times over. It's raised, that's crazy.
Yeah, well, one could argue, being devil's advocate, it's also raised a lot of awareness.
I would say that too.
Of me as an artist.
Changes
and
your
has
life.
Probably garnered me some new fans. I remember being at Target like 1 o'clock in the morning on the road and, these two little old ladies were in there shopping and I couldn't sleep. We were on the tour bus. So I went in there. It's like, 24-hour Target, which is very exciting. And
only in America?
Yeah, 24-hour Target. And I went in there and these two little old ladies were just like, you're that girl on the commercial with the animals. I'm like, yep, that's me.